So a big welcome to everyone. My name is Evangeline Aritwala, and I'm the Alumni Engagement Officer with the CSE Alumni team. On behalf of the CSE Alumni team, we welcome you all to attend this webinar today. Today's webinar will be on inclusive mobility as a service in Lagos, Nigeria. And this webinar will address the CSE development theme of science and technology for development. I'm thrilled to welcome Commonwealth scholar Ejiro Ikoko from Nigeria to present this webinar to us today. Ejiro is the Student Sustainability Architect in the Faculty of Environment at the University of Leeds. In this role, she aims to promote sustainability culture among students by developing and promoting sustainability initiatives in the faculty. I'm pleased to let you know that Ejiro is a 2019 Commonwealth scholar and completed her MSc in Transport Planning at University of Leeds. She is also a current 2021 Commonwealth scholar pursuing her PhD in Transport Studies from the same university. And today she will be speaking about her MSc as well as PhD research study on transport and inclusive mobility. So I'll now hand over to Ejiro for your presentation. A huge welcome to you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Okay, thank you so much. So let's go straight to our presentation. So just to make you understand what I want to do, I need to tell you that I'm combining my MSc, findings from my MSc and my ongoing PhD. Okay, so my MSc looked at the challenge of creating an inclusive mobility as a service for two vulnerable groups, that is visually impaired and persons without smartphone. But for this webinar, I'm focusing on the visually impaired. And also my PhD is looking at how mass can be a solution to the needs of low income women. And I'm looking at it in terms of a metropolitan area and non-metropolitan area, because people living in one location might likely not face the same issues or mobility needs of people living in another location. Okay. So let's start with this quote by it says, a developed country isn't a place where the poor have cars. It's where the rich use public transport. So public transport should be the backbone of mobility. So I hope as we start our webinar, you learn a lot and also ask questions. Okay, so Eva, would you help me with the first poll? I want to know, at least get to know my audience. So have you ever experienced any kind of uncertainty, maybe vehicle delay, hike in transport fare, or bus schedule? Okay, yes. Okay, the yes are coming in. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay, so everybody just saying yes. Okay, so you can yeah. I think we can all relate. Even if you don't mind, would you maybe help me put the next question on the chat box? So you all said yes. So how did you feel? Maybe you had one activity for the day, or you have a couple of activities. How did you feel when you know that maybe you couldn't get where you're going to, or the fare was high? Can you just quickly just tell me in the chat box, how did you feel? And that will help. Okay, and so it could be frustrated, annoyed. Okay, so we all have disappointing, angry. Yeah, nobody is smiling. I thought we should be smiling. Okay, so that's good. Okay, thank you for that response, and let's proceed to the next one. So just to give a context to what I want to talk about, mobility, because everybody moves from one place to another, but mobility is just more than movement. It's about access, desires of people, maybe your social capital, maybe your friends, maybe your family, your also to places. Yeah, so if, for example, this event was to be a physical event, I'm sure you will have moved from here to the venue of the event. And also it has to do with psychological benefits. Also, some people move for the purpose of exercises, or also to get involved with what local community, maybe like town meeting, maybe like parties, maybe even going for cleanup. So there are many reasons why people move and why mobility should not in any way be restricted for anybody. So one that we understand what mobility is, according to the UN, there's a rise in urban population. More people are relocating to cities now. And currently, they said in 2050, about 66% of the population will be living in cities. That makes, if my math is correct, 34 in rural areas. So now the thing is this, in Africa, this would be extra 300 million population of people, population in urban cities in Africa. Now this already means more trips are being made, more people are moving. So it means more pressure to the transport system, which in Africa is categorized by what? Congestion, inaccessibility, because Africa is mostly, the transport system are mostly informal by private owners. So of course, people will actually serve areas that they can profit. So some areas will be underserved. And also exclusion of vulnerable groups. So why is my research important? Why are you not in your home doing something else? Why are you not watching movies or studying? Why are you here listening to me this afternoon? Why is my research important? Well, it's important because it aims to achieve an inclusive, accessible, and affordable transport. So from the chat, from the interaction we had earlier, some people said they were frustrated, some said they were annoyed, some said nobody said they were happy, because transportation affects your living. It affects everything about what you do. If a child cannot go to school, then she cannot learn. That is if she wants to remain with her peers or go to school. And also, my research is also important because it helps achieve the SDG goal of no poverty, gender equality. So if someone can move and access employment, then they can generate income for their household and also aspire to do other things that will make them grow or capacity building. So my project is really important. And let's not forget the vulnerable groups. So let's pick my focus, which are the visually impaired and low-income women. Actually, my study will make them feel that they are not second-class citizens. Because truth be told, the transport system, yes, a lot of policies that have been ongoing, the World Bank, the government, they're actually doing a lot of work, but the gap is too wide. So these people need to feel that the system is made for them, not that they will come as a second-class citizen. Maybe as we proceed with my slide, you will get to understand and have an appreciation of what I mean by second-class citizen. Okay, so Lagos, which is my focus for my MSc and also my PhD. So for those of us that do not know Lagos, but I know that this webinar, we have people from different parts of from Africa and possibly parts of the world. So Lagos is 23 million population of people, approximately, and no less than 3 million people are living with disabilities. So you can imagine that's a lot of population. Yeah, and also it's the most populated city in Africa because it's the economic hub for the nation and the gateway to the seaports, like the Tinkan Island ports, Apapa Wharf ports. So a lot of opportunities are there. A lot of companies are making that their headquarters. So a lot of opportunities. So a lot of people are coming into Lagos on a daily basis. And also Lagos has 20 local government area, 16 urban and 4 suburban. So let me make you have an understanding of how much trips are being made daily. Now, according to Lamata, now we have about 22 million people moving on a daily basis. In essence, it means, if you remember my previous slide, I said approximately 23 million people, population of Lagos. Now, out of that 23 million, 22 million people move every day, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah. So what's the distribution of this movement? So 8 million, almost 9 million people, they walk. So walking have one of the highest population of modal share. Vehicle as private cars, about 12 million or 13 million, call it. Then the transit train and the water transport. 1 just to give more context, so Lagos, we have what we call informal transport, we have what bus public transit system, we have the inland waterways, we have the train, and we have the people call it rickshaw or call it tricycle, or they call it keke napep. That is what we call it in Lagos and Nigeria. Okay. So still just to give context to my work, what are the transport challenges in Lagos? So like I said, a lot of work has been going on, the World Bank, the UN, even the NGOs, even the companies, and also researchers like us doing research. So, but still, more needs to be done. So one of the problems, according to Lamata, is poorly maintained buses. Now, I mentioned earlier that Lagos is mostly, or Africa, but when it comes to Lagos, it's mostly characterized by informal vehicles or informal transport. So, of course, most of them, they are the owners of their buses, so they don't have anybody to report to. So when their buses is getting bad, they just keep using it. So buses are not maintained, or even the distribution of transport services. Every private investor, or they want to make profit. So you would not go to area B where there are less people. You rather go and serve area C where you can get more people and make more money. So what happens to people in area A that do not have, that needs to move? So this kind of causes some kind of exclusion. Or for those of us that live in Lagos, you know what they call survival of the fittest? So if you cannot push to get a vehicle, you will stay there till the crowd have reduced. So during peak period, the crowd rush, everybody goes to work by 8, most people go on by 5. So in the morning by 8, there's a lot of crowd. So people are rushing to go coming back by 5, the same thing happens again. So so imagine if someone that is fully able will have to struggle to get a vehicle. What happens to disabled people that are vision impaired, or a woman with kids, a woman that is pregnant, or somebody that is physically disabled? Or what happens to an elderly person without strength to push to get a vehicle? You can wait there for hours. So these things are kind of like the characteristics or the situation, challenges of Lagos road transport. Okay, so like I said earlier on, my PhD is ongoing, and I'm looking at women, how mobility as a service can be a solution to their mobility needs. But before I can do that, I need to understand what are their mobility needs. Now, the truth is this: yes, a lot of literature research have been ongoing, but context. Every location have different needs. Like I said, you can be in location A and location B. You might be a woman, but all of you, the context, the geographical location you are, the transport availability, characteristics, services, it will affect. And also as a person, maybe what you do or where you need to go to, or your family size, or even your income. This affects your needs and challenges. It's not the same everywhere. So just for people that don't know that, just to help us understand more, there are possible trips that women can make. So a woman can go to school, make a trip to school, as you can see in the picture, or go to church, or won't go to work, those that end. That work can be possibly she's a trader, or maybe she's self-employed, or possibly she is an apprentice, or she works in the organization where she gets her salary. Or to go and see families like, oh, I want to see my grandmom, I want to see my auntie, I want to see my sister. Or maybe shopping. Some people can just take just want to go and get one beautiful clothing or one beautiful shoes that they saw, or even meetings or healthcare, taking the kids to see the doctor or the dentist, or going for personal checkup, or even taking her family or member or her parents or someone to for medical checkup. So there are many possible trips. So these are not all the list, but this is to give an idea that women can make several trips. So what are the existing knowledge based on finding on women mobility in general? Now, I'm not just looking at this in general. So most women do work and rely on public transport, and because thanks to the gender equality now and the Ejiro and women empowerment, so some women can now start affording having their own income. But some years back and up to now, most women cannot afford to have their own car. Some do not work, so they rather walk to their destination or rely on public transport, or even in some houses whereby they only have one car. Of course, who takes the car? The husband or the man takes the car, so women have to walk. So I'll rely on public transport. So women trips are multi-purpose. And let me give you an example. This is might not apply to our situation, but just to help you understand. So a man can wake up in the morning and take the bus to the office, does his work, and by 5 he's back, or takes the car and by 5 he's back. Now this is not for stay at home dads, but a woman, or maybe use my sister for example, my in-law. So she, before she goes to work, she takes her kids to school, okay, and then she go to her work. Then maybe she can take like a 10-15 minute break and go and make a quick stop, maybe to pick up something for her kids, come back to work. So women trips are complex. So I know the women, you can agree with me that you can make 4 trips within 1 hour. We call them short trips. So our trips are multi-purpose, a trip of movement. And also fear of sexual harassment or personal security also mean a great concern. Maybe in the night when you're working, or maybe you're in a bus waiting for a bus stop and there's no one around, you are scared that maybe you'll be harassed, or maybe when you're working, maybe because of those congestion traffic and you got home late. So the fear of safety, even there are some culture whereby they make rules that you should not leave the house late, come home late, or leave the house because of security reasons. So these are issues that women face, or cultural restrictions. So there are some in Lagos, for example, there are some culture whereby the women and the men, they don't tend to mix together. Even in India, I heard they have women only Uber, and also have a women only coach in the train, just for sexual harassment and sexual harassment issues. So also low-income women, because they don't earn enough, so they rather walk or take public transport. So still on my PhD, because I would like to look at the capability approach to help me understand women needs. So this capability approach, it's by Amartya Sen and Mata, and it's a framework that talks about people should have the freedom to achieve well-being of primary importance, and well-being should be understood in terms of people capabilities and functioning. So in essence, our argument is that, or part of the argument is that when you say a country is doing well, you check the GDP, but when you go and look at the individual lives, it's not reflecting. So when you want to know if a country is doing well, you should check and see the quality of life of the people. Because the fact that a location produces maybe a high GDP or a country or whatever it is, and you go to the homes and you find out that it's not reflecting their life. So for you to know how the quality of life of people, how well they're doing, they came up with some things which to look to consider. But just because I'm still working on my PhD, but for now, looking at capabilities, that is the ability or knowledge to do something, that is to count, to write, then functioning, being and doing. Now the fact that you have the ability and you cannot function, maybe because of the available opportunities or options. So functioning should be working, being literally being able to participate in the community. So she was saying these kind of things determine that, okay, how well are people doing? What's the quality of life? So I'll be using this approach or considering this also in my work. And okay, like I mentioned, my PhD is still ongoing, and I was doing my fieldwork, which I haven't done yet. So I haven't gotten my own data for Lagos, but just to tell you what I would do is 6 months of field work in Lagos, and my target population is low-income women in metropolitan and non-metropolitan areas, because Lagos have both metropolitan and non-metropolitan areas. So of course, mobility needs and the characteristics of each location will be very different. And also because I need to understand how they travel, what challenges do they face, how they affect their life. I have to do interviews, because I have to do semi-structured interviews to give them the flexibility to just start discussing and getting the ideas and getting the points out, understanding what exactly it is they're going through and how it affects their daily life. And then after I've done that, I would also use a workshop to investigate if maths can be a solution to their mobility needs. So that is another thing I will also be doing. So someone asked me, okay, you're in the UK, how will you assess your population? Will you just go on the streets when you get to Nigeria? No, I'm going to use gatekeepers. So I'll use like NGOs that have access to my location, or we'll use women organization, women groups. So gatekeepers to give me access to my population. Now, because I'm looking at low-income women, now if I really want to, most of them may not be able to actually communicate well English, or they're going to be speaking their language. So I will need interpreters, so whereby to interpret what I'm saying to the participant and vice versa. So because that's where they can express themselves, talk about their challenges, what is that's affecting them. Because yeah, so that's the only way I think I can get my information. Then of course I have to transcribe it to a local language. So why am I transcribing to a local language and not English immediately? So data may be lost. So it's always good to first transcribe what has been said to the language, then translate to English. So in the future, I might want to go back to data and say, okay, what actually went wrong? But if I just translate straight to English, information might be lost. So it's always good to first transcribe to the local language, then translate to English. And of course, I'll use in vivo and semantic analysis to get analyze my data. Okay, so that's for the PhD. So let's come to my MSc, which I worked on visually impaired. And so I used what they call the social model of disability and transport exclusion. So social model of disability talks about that society should be created in a way that the people or the disabled people would not feel that they are disabled. So if, for example, you build a building and you made a lift for somebody with a wheelchair, if the person comes to the building and sees that there's a lift, the person won't feel excluded because he can access the building with a lift. But whereby it's only a staircase, then they feel excluded. So they say society makes them disabled, not them. Or let me give an instance of one of someone said she went to a bank to withdraw her own money. They told her that she's on a wheelchair, that she should stay outside. They will get the money for her because there's no ramp to access the building, only staircase. And she felt so bad that for why would they treat her as a second-class citizen? And they said, "Oh, madam, sorry, we do not have a ramp." Yes, but that is not her fault. If you are being inclusive, then think about everybody and whatever you're doing. So when she comes and she sees a ramp, she won't feel, oh, this building is not accessible. She will feel part of the community. She will feel included in the society. She don't have to think twice that, oh, if I go to this destination, will I get able to access the building? So also I want to talk about transport exclusion quickly before I go to my findings from my from the visually impaired. Churchill said that there are different kinds of exclusion. The exclusion has to do with physical exclusion, geographical exclusion, which I mentioned earlier, in terms of maybe some transport companies would rather serve a place that will profit them and not a place that maybe people are not, the place is not industrial, so or people do not go there a lot. Okay, I know a lot of people might be able to relate with this. There are times where you call an Uber or call a taxi and they will tell you they're not going, maybe because they say that because if I take you there, I won't get a passenger coming back. So these kind of things, okay, yeah, I understand what they're saying, but what happened to the citizens or the residents in their location? So should they not participate? Should they not go out? Should they not get employment? Should they not go and see their family? If you remember why people move, the reasons why people move. So that are like geographical exclusion or time-based exclusion, or even fear. So there are many ways exclusion can happen. Okay, so what was my findings? There is a problem of visually impaired persons. It's sad, but yes, a lot of work has been going, but people still face discrimination from bus operators and some road users. So, for example, some bus operators will, because it's mostly informal operators, informal transport in Lagos, so they will not want to pick up a visually impaired because they feel you are wasting their time. They will rather pick up someone that they are not responsible for. If you understand what I mean. So a visually impaired might need extra help to get in the vehicle, the destination, and also to highlight and also to board vehicle. So most bike operators will just ignore them, will not even pick them up. So these are not these are some of the challenges they face, or even some road users. So for example, I remember someone told me, one of them said they feel that they are beggars. So maybe they needed help to cross a road, or needed help to climb the bridge, and they asked the fellow passerby, "Can you please help me?" So just ignore them, or something maybe they want to beg for money without even knowing that they just want to ask for help. Okay, another reason is difficulty in navigating the roads. So there are some places in Lagos whereby, because of people traders, petty traders, so they come and put their businesses on the road, sell things. So even you that you are not, you have your site, it's difficult to navigate the road. Now, how much more someone that is visually impaired? You can imagine, if maybe they count their steps to know their how to get to the location. If the next day and they come and see petty traders are there, or vehicles parked there, it's difficult to navigate. Or is it the ditches or potholes? One of them said she fell into a pothole because she didn't know there was a pothole. It was someone that came to rescue her. So these are things that they face. Or is it paying double fares? Some of them that do not want to travel alone are scared will have to travel with an aid. So imagine paying a fare for yourself and paying for someone else. That is expensive. Or okay, I think about 4 days ago, I saw a friend status on WhatsApp. He said that it was raining. That this happened in Lagos. It was raining, and the fare cost about 200 naira, and because of the rain, it increased to 4 or 5 times the cost. So if, for example, the fare cost from A to B cost them 40 pence, because of the rain, it increased to like maybe £3 or £4. But he has to go home. So he went home. So you can imagine someone that is visually impaired with an aid paying double fare for himself and the aid, or husband and the aid, going and coming. Most of them won't want to go out, because when you start thinking about all the stress, but however, some works are still ongoing, but this is what they still face. Or is it unfamiliarity with irregular pickup and drop-off spots? So in Lagos, we have areas whereby we have bus stops, but because of this informal, this is mostly, we have informal transport, that's privately run. We'll have the BRT, which the bus rapid transit, I'll get there, but let's come to the informal transport. And because it is how many people you carry, how many passengers you have in your vehicle, you make more money. So at times, some of them don't have the patience to drop a passenger at the bus stop. They'll just pick the passenger on the road. So imagine whereby they drop someone that is visually impaired in a bus stop that person is not familiar with. How can they navigate their destination? One of them actually said they stopped her in the middle of the road. They didn't even know she was blind, because some of them don't understand what a guide cane is. She had a guide cane with her, but they did not understand what a guide cane is. So they don't think that, they thought she was just a normal passenger, like a regular person sighted, and just stopped her on the road. And it was someone that came to like grab her to save her from an incoming vehicle, because she didn't even know where she was. Okay. So let's go to the former. We have what we call the bus rapid transit, BRT. Also, the government have been doing a lot. They're trying to make sure that these people, the visually impaired and other disabled groups, are included. So they do some policies whereby they say do not pay for your fare, just to encourage them. However, some people said they are not poor. Don't treat them like that. They want to pay their money. So while some are happy, some say no, don't treat them that way. I can afford it. Back to it. There's also the queue whereby people queue, but if you are visually impaired or disabled, you can just jump the queue, and just the government try to encourage them and make them feel included. However, because of they are run by different operators, today it can work, tomorrow they'll tell you no. So it's not stable. And also fare denomination. So let me quickly move on. And so what's the impact of life? One of them said, let me use them. I carry my wahala for my head. It means before I go out, I think about all the problems or challenges I will face. So I will just accept it that way. that it's just because I'm visually impaired. So whatever I see, I collect, which is wrong. That is depressing. That brings some that is mental draining, because you cannot, everybody's supposed to be treated as first class citizens. No one is second class citizen. So she said for her to go out, she have to just have that mindset. So whatever she faces, she will not feel depressed. That was like her own defense mechanism, which shouldn't be so. And one of them also said that she left home early to avoid the rush, so she can actually get a vehicle. And I do a transport talks, and one of the my speakers was a doctor. Now he mentioned that these people that are visually impaired or with disability, they actually come to the hospital late when the disease or sickness has actually eaten them up. Now this is because when you look at, like the girl said, I carry my wallet from my head. When you think about the transport different of face, they won't want to just go out. So this thing goes beyond transport. It also affects their health as a person. And for those of you that don't know what Transport Talks is, Transport Talks is a talk show which I founded. I want to bridge the gap between the experts and the public, whereby I bring people from different fields to come and address transport issues, and also want to also change public orientation about what transport is. Transport is not just moving from A to B or taking a bus. It goes beyond what you think. So I followed this show to help educate the public and also hope to shape our transport ecosystem. So my next episode is coming up 30th of June by 5 p.m. EST and WAT, West African time and British Summer time. So please do well to join the program and also participate. Thank you. So now that we've mentioned the transport challenges of visually impaired, I mentioned earlier, I'm looking at mobility as a service, as a solution for low-income women and also the visually impaired. And for those of us that know what MAS is just a system that integrates different modes of transport together, whereby you can also access transport services to suit your need, and you make just one payment. So even if you use 5 different modes, you will not pay your transport and pay 55 for mode A, mode B, and mode B separately. No, you just one platform that you pay one payment for all the transport services that you need. So what are the core elements of MAS? We have what we call data providers. We have infrastructure, that's the road infrastructure. We need the transport operators, that is who provides the buses, the BRT, the Uber, the taxis, excuse me. And also the customer mobility advisors, and also the MAS customers, that's people that also patronize it. So this is just the ecosystem. So someone asked me, so why did I pick Lagos to do my study of MAS? Why not maybe a city in the north, or why not a city in the east? Because Lagos is in the west. First of all, Lagos is for MAS to operate, there are some features or characteristics that is needed. And if I pick a city that don't have it, it's like starting afresh, which I don't have the time because of my very just 3 years and resources. So I rather look for a city that has, if not all, some basic features that MAS can be implemented. And fortunately, it was Lagos, which is the population city in Africa, and also have mobility challenges of different groups of people. So why Lagos? Lagos is technology ready. We have a lot of smartphone users, we have internet users, we have internet, and we also have various transport services in Lagos. We have the bus, rapid transit, the BRT, we have the Uber, we have the boat. So those that don't, if you don't know what they call boat is like an Uber also, but in Lagos. We also have the Trebs. So Trebs is it's like an Uber, but it's not an Uber taxi, it's an Uber bus. So it picks people from different locations. So it was a bus. So this kind of things is what MAS can actually be developed from. We also have the road. We also have so like I said, some works are ongoing. So the Lagos state government they brought about what they have the bus reform initiative, and they just did the first and last mile, whereby if, for example, for those of us that don't know what they call first and last mile simply means your first journey from your house to the major transport bus stop, or where you get your first major vehicle. So most people actually, for people for example, in the pride areas or areas that are excluded, they have to walk a long mile before they now get to a place where they can get a vehicle. So the first mile was walking. So there's not a bus initiative that handles first and last mile. So they're like feeders. They feed into the main transport system. And of course, citizen familiarity, because Uber already operates in Lagos, so having mass will not be hard for them to get adopted or get used to, because mass is just a more complex or system than Uber. So it's almost the same thing, because Uber just taxi with mass incorporate different modes of transport together. So what's the benefit of mass for Lagos? Like I said, mass is user designed. So for example, you pick up your phone and say, okay, you are in your house, you want to get to destination B from A. So you just type in, the way you do your Uber, type in your destination and you pick your origin. So the same way with the mass, it would now give you different options, and you tend to say, oh, I don't want to take a taxi, rather give me another option. Or so it's user designed. You can customize it to suit your need. So when you can customize something to suit your needs, then it can take care of your first and last mile, and it makes it increases accessibility. And also, another benefit of mass for Lagos is providing special coverage and sharing reliable routes and scheduled integration, more choices in transport option. Okay, just to show me the right place. Yeah, okay. So also, because mass encourages shared mobility, so it will reduce car dependency. That means less congestion, means less emission, means increased equality. Because people can have access to transport on demand. So it means your mobility will not be restricted. You can have access to employment opportunities. You can go and see, visit your family. You can make trips. So it means more earnings. In essence, it means poverty reduction, improved livelihood, which leads to societal development. So of course, because mass is not an African concept, it's actually from Europe. So you cannot just move a policy or a model from the global north to the global south. There are things that you need to consider, or there are things that can facilitate it, or they are enablers, or they are barriers. So the first, let me quickly go to the society. The first society facilitator for mass is sharing economy, in the sense that people now use they share a taxi, they share an Uber, they do carpooling. This is what these are things that facilitate mass. And also the millennials right now, they want on-demand services. That technology, or even Gen Z, that everybody's not technology, most people are technology savvy, and they want information on demand, which are all the things that mass provide. Even flex working time, people want to work from home or work, do what they want. So these are things that mass can, these are facilitators of mass. And let me just quickly mesh this together. So for Lagos, in our society, Lagos, we have a lot of people with, we have the Uber there, so Uber can fit in for Lagos. Go to the economy, let's go to the ID inventory. So for example, some people, when people that have cars, when they go to work, they park their cars, that car is being idle. But with mass, people can, like, that car can be used to pick up, during the idle time, it can be used to pick up people in other locations or locations where they are underserved. So cars that are meant to be idle will not be in use. But a barrier will not be data availability, structure, because and data confidentiality. So because must involve different stakeholders, we have the different companies. Maybe let's go to the transport operators, maybe the Uber, the BRT, the Trebs. So first of all, their data have to be in the same structure for them to be integrated. And some might not want to share that data, or even they might have the risks of data confidentiality. Okay, smartphones. That was not enabler of mass, which of course Lagos have a lot of smartphone users, and according to some research, there's an increase in smartphone users. But one barrier of mass would be lack of synergy, getting all stakeholders to work together. Everybody will want to do what will profit them. So it's going to be difficult, but I think it's achievable, but synergy will be a barrier, but that also is achievable. So like I mentioned earlier, for Lagos, the same thing. There's one other thing I want to mention for Lagos is, as a barrier, is social status. So there are some people that see using public transport or sharing a car with someone as being poor. So they feel that if you have a car, you're high class. So that can be a challenge also. So, but, okay. So yeah, so summary of my work. Key point, nobody's mobility should be restricted. Everybody are first-class citizen. Mobility is an essential part of your life to access opportunities, to visit families. Mobility, you should not have to think twice before you move because you're not sure of the situations or the circumstances around you, or if you can get a vehicle. And transport should be people-centered for it to be inclusive. You don't just create infrastructures or create vehicles. They don't want people to fit in. Rather, understand the people, understand their needs, then provide the transport that suits their need. Okay, so mass is it enhances inclusion, it's user-specific, like I mentioned earlier, and also mass promotes sustainability. It helps to achieve the SDG goals of no poverty, sustainable cities, gender equality, accessibility, etc. And mass is a vision for the city. So I want to say thank you for listening, and I look forward to discussing.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your presentation. I'm sure the attendees would echo my thoughts in saying that it was a brilliant presentation on your MSc and PhD research study. Thank you so much for sharing information on that, and also just sharing information on the research study process that you are undertaking, and also highlighting the challenges that women and vulnerable groups face in terms of accessing transport in Nigeria. So thank you so much for this presentation. I am aware of the time, and I would now like to open the floor to Q&A session. Just a reminder, if you have any questions for Ejiro, please do send them in the chat box. I can see we already have a couple of questions. So I'm going to share that with you, Ejiro, right away if you are ready.
Okay, right. Okay.
Are you ready? Should I start with the first question?
Oh, goodness. Okay. I was.
All right, I'll start with a shorter question. The question is from Poonam. So Poonam's asking, what role, if any, will the local government authorities play in institutional or other changes required to enable inclusion of vulnerable groups?
Okay, first of all, we don't have data. So we don't know how many people are, because I remember speaking to some people and they were like, I know we have people that are vulnerable, we have disabled people with, let me just blind, and people that are visually impaired, we have people with visually impairment, but there are not many. So I think it's like a waste of infrastructure. Someone said so. So like, well, it's not their fault. If there's data, they won't have access on the first place. So the first thing I think the government can do, or local government, is to know the people that are available there, first of all. Have that make provision for those data. And also one thing I want to emphasize, which I found in MSc, is because you need to first let these people come out, let them know that there are a lot of them and they need help, and educate. They have what they call the Lagos Office for Disability, educate the public on how to communicate and coexist with people with special needs, that they are not second-class citizens. Because if we have that consciousness, because it's not just the government that have the role to play, it's everybody's role to play. government can provide the transport services or ensure that there's policies or there are people to enforce it. What about the citizens? If they treat them, give them ill treatment, that doesn't help. So the data, cut awareness, then have enforcement, and also make sure that people, bus operators do not discriminate. I don't know if that answers your question.
Amazing. Thanks, Ejiro. The next question is on your research study methodology. What ethical considerations will or are in place for your research? Trisha, who has asked the question, is saying that I'm imagining obtaining ethics approval will be a tedious process, looking at the fact that you will deal with vulnerable groups. So what are the ethical considerations that you have considered for your research?
Okay, just to let you know, I'm my first year of my study, and I'm yet to do my ethical approval, but I'm not working with my school is only giving me ethical approval, but I'm not working with minors. I'm working with women, and also there are some what's it called? So there are some considerations which apply in the form which I have to fill, which also guide me when I'm asking questions, not to intrude on their personal life or privacy. And also when I'm also analyzing my data, I use what they call sodium. So though I don't use their names, so I use them fake names, so they will not associate the finding to any of the participants. And of course, before I interview them, I will give them a form to sign and tell them that at any point you are allowed to stop the interview. You don't have to continue if you don't want to. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, great. The next question is, what barrier do you think the predominance of yellow buses, in bracket Danpo, if that's pronounced correctly, and KK Napeb pose to the implementation of MAS? How do the low-income earners maximize the benefit of MAS against the cost barrier?
Okay, that's an interesting question. First of all, that's a very interesting question. However, this is beyond my scope, but I can still answer that. So because MAS needs it needs an organized system, schedule system, for it to actually work effectively, like in other countries in Europe. However, given the fact that Africa or Lagos is dominated by informal transport, so at this stage, yeah, the government have plans to keep getting more buses, but at this stage, we don't have enough. So the model that can work would be a model. This is my opinion, of course. I've not done that research for that, but a model will be a model that can accommodate this informal transport, because only the government at this moment, government buses available cannot cater for the public. So we can have maybe possibly some of the buses can come in as feeders, or some of them can actually do like a franchise under the MAS scheme. So I don't know if that works. What was the other question? I'm sorry. The other question. I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you.
Sorry about that. The next follow-up question is, how do the low-income earners maximize the benefit of MAS against the cost barrier?
Yeah, so the truth is, there's an ongoing debate on what MAS is. Should MAS be privatized? Should MAS be government? Should be based on public transport? So the MAS I'm looking at should be MAS that have public transport as its backbone. So when government is involved in most transport schemes, the price will not be expensive. So first of all, my research wants to investigate the mobility needs and challenges of these women. So of course, we know that transport costs will be an issue with them. So when the so for example, I'm looking at low-income women. Knowing that a particular location has people beyond a certain income level, a private transport that is profit-oriented will not want to go and invest there. So this is where the government comes to place. So if the MAS scheme I'm looking at, which I'm considering is PPP, public-private partnership, and we have government as policy regulators subsidizing, so they will come to make sure that monitor and put like, should I put a cap or something that whereby the needs of people with low income can be accommodated? Like maybe, for example, through subsidy, or maybe even through some kind of packaging system. Maybe they have different kind of transport package, fair ticketing system that may say, okay, within this boundary, you only pay £5, doesn't matter how many times you travel. These are things that can look into. I hope that answers the question.
Great, thank you so much for your response. So next is, right, so in Lagos, Uber and Bolt already exist, as you have already mentioned, but majority of the users are working class or high and middle class. The trading women or the poor visually impaired do not usually use these services, and most do not operate a smartphone. How will MAS be truly different in practice to include these groups, especially since MAS will be a smartphone dependent tool?
Yeah, that's a very beautiful question, and that's I counted that in my MSc, so I'm happy to give you an answer. Yeah, but more research can be done. This is not just an issue for Africa, also in Europe. Not everybody uses a smartphone. So, I came up with this thought. This is my idea. Is proposal is I have two. One is, if you go to if those of us in the UK, you can buy your ticket on your phone. You can also buy your ticket at the train station to a digital kiosk. So people that do not have smartphone can use that. So it can be a kiosk in a public center whereby people can, without smartphones, can actually go there and buy the MAS package. Or even if you have a smartphone, what happens when there's no internet connection or your battery is dead? So this is not just for the people that are trying to impede, for everyone. So there should be like a resilience, a backup plan, because Africa, Nigeria is a good economy. Some things are not that stable at the moment. We're getting there, but so we have to have a plan B when something goes on. What happens next? Because if we don't have a plan B, it's going to be like a disaster, if you ask me. In my opinion, I may be wrong. And also for phones, people without smartphones, I know that you can actually make payments with non-smartphone bank transfers. So people with phones, non-smartphone, I don't know what it's called, Nokia 3310, or those non-smartphone can actually make payment with some codes, USD codes. So that can also work. Even in Lagos, when Nigeria, when government wants to send some information to everyone, they use some codes to send to. It doesn't matter your phone. Everybody have access to it. Smartphone. So this way, I think, with the digital kiosk at public locations, and also using codes, which people can use and access, just dialing some codes and hashtag, put hash and follow the next step, and access the MAS platform. Does that answer your question? Was it two or one question?
Yeah, that was a question.
Oh, okay.
Yep. The next question from one of our attendees is on your data collection method. Apart from your survey data that you intend to collect, what other data will you collect to determine the viability of MAS in Lagos?
Okay, I think I need to restate my project topic. My topic is to first investigate the mobility needs of women, my PhD project, then also see if MAS can work, right? I think I got a bit lost. Just help me with the question again. Sorry.
Yes, the question is, apart from the survey data that you will, you intend to collect, what other data will you collect to determine the viability of MAS in Lagos?
Okay, so yeah, my MSc covered a bit of that. So what I did, I spoke with stakeholders, that's government policymakers. I spoke with the Commissioner of Transport for Lagos. It was very, very helpful. So I got to know about some plans that are not yet out, but ongoing, which MAS can, which are in the middle of MAS. Anybody doing MAS or me in terms of the transferring and viability, you speak to stakeholders because stakeholders are important. You also look at documents, know what's available for guys, policy documents or transport documents. What do we have available? What system is in place? You also speak with the transport operators from BRT, the Uber, the Bolt. So they're shows if you go to the mass ecosystem, those key characteristics or key people listed, there's people you also can also speak with and also read documents and also possibly look at close by cities that have done mass before and learn from their mistake. Also learn from their challenges or success story. Yeah.
Great. The next question is by Sola, who's asking, what roles will coordinate transport system play in achieving mass? Will it be a facilitator or a necessity in the context of a place like Lagos with stakeholders of diverse interest?
I'm not too sure what you're saying, but let me just answer the way I understood it. So I said mass is a vision. Again, it's not just a mobility app or a platform. Everybody wants to wake up in the morning and be sure that you can get to your destination without thinking twice. So it involves all stakeholders. Yes, every stakeholder will have their challenges or will have their what they want to gain. But let me based on my interview with one of the stakeholders, one of the main policymakers, they said they'll have to have a meeting point. Everybody will come to a place of agreement. It might take a while, but it's doable. So because if you want to make mass without certain transport providers or without considering their benefits or without considering their own needs, then of course nobody wants to come and participate. So when you consider everybody needs and find a meeting point, it can actually make the system better. Don't forget mass is a vision for the city because we cannot keep relying on informal transport services because tomorrow bus will be cancelled, fare might increase double. So you want to have a stable system to have a stable economy.
Great. We do have one more. It's actually a set of questions, but I'm going to bring forward one question, which I feel is quite interesting. So the question is about how will you ensure your research study findings will actually help in policy change in Africa?
First of all, the easy one is publication. When you publish your work is out there, people see it. Number two is, I'm actually in a program called Transport Talks. It was better for my PhD. I saw the need for it. My part of the vision is to educate the public. So part of what I'm learning, I'm also out there talking with people, stakeholders, policymakers, transport experts, a lot of people. So through my Transport Talk also organizing workshops, because that's part of what I'm looking at, and also so even the CIC, they have this opportunity they give to their scholars, whereby you can go and apply for a grant for any development issue in your country. I think they had one for climate and ocean. So there are lots of ways which my work can make impact in Africa. And one more thing, why I also made my show Transport Talk is because most people, there are a lot of research out there, but nobody sees it. You make a lot of effort and publish a paper, or publish a paper and only a few people read it, scholars, but the public don't read it. So part of Transport Talk, which my program is to bring people that have done research and break it down in a way that simplify that the masses can understand it and appreciate it. Does that answer the question?
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for responding to all the questions. If you can please go to the next slide.
Yeah.
I would now like to end the Q&A session. I hope I have covered all the questions that have come through. Ejiro, just to let you know, there have been a really great response to your webinar presentation. Attendees have appreciated your presentation and have thanked you for your brilliant presentation and have also shared their best wishes for you. I would echo the same thought as well. Good luck with your ongoing PhD research study. We hope that you are able to share further information with Commonwealth scholars and alumni, and also good luck with your ongoing work with your talk show, transport talk show. just to let attendees know that if you would like to connect with Ejiro, you can do so via LinkedIn and Twitter as well. As you can see on the screen, you can find Ejiro on LinkedIn and Twitter. These are her handle names or profile names. I'm also sharing with you Ejiro's email address in the chat box if you would like to connect with her. She's also a member of our Knowledge Hub, and when the recording of this webinar will be shared on the Knowledge Hub, feel free to get in touch with her and ask her any questions that you might have. Ejiro, thank you so much for the brilliant presentation. Any final words of wisdom for everyone?
First of all, I want to say thank you for making me share my research. I want to say thank you for the engaging question. I'm taking some back to help further my PhD. So thank you so much, and all the best.